A woman's respect is never given freely. It is not distributed like affection, nor offered like companionship. Respect is earned in the quiet places where most men never look, in the moments that reveal the difference between a man who lives by fear and a man who moves through fear as if it were nothing more than wind brushing against the surface of his mind. Fearlessness to the feminine psyche is not an accessory. It is not a trait among many. It is a signal, a deep evolutionary marker that tells her whether you are a man she can trust, follow, surrender to, challenge, or build a life around. When she meets a man who is fearless, her entire psychological framework reorganizes around him. Her tone shifts, her emotional temperature adjusts, and the silent, ancient instinct inside her awakens. The instinct that says, this man cannot be controlled. This man cannot be shaken. This man cannot be dominated emotionally. This man stands with a spine that refuses to bend for approval. And today we are going into the darkest corridors of female psychology, and where respect comes not from charm, not from wealth, not from appearance, but from the man's relationship with fear itself. Part 1. The ancient signal, fearlessness as a biological and psychological trigger. To understand why women respect fearless men, you must go far beyond modern dating theories. You have to travel back into the deep architecture of human evolution, where survival depended on a man's ability to confront danger without collapsing. Long before society, long before laws, long before comfort existed, the world was a violent and unstable place. A woman needed a partner who was not merely strong, but stable under pressure. Strength can be an illusion. Many men look powerful until conflict arrives, and then their confidence evaporates. Fearlessness, however, is not performance. It is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is the calmness a man carries when facing situations that terrify others. This calmness became an evolutionary signal. Women learned instinctively, the man who remains composed in danger is the man whose genes can protect my future. And here's the psychological twist. Even though modern life is safe, the instinct remains. The test is no longer physical danger. It is emotional danger. A woman subconsciously evaluates a man by observing, does he panic under pressure? Does he crumble when she expresses intense emotion? Does he fear abandonment? Does he fear disapproval? Does he fear conflict? Fearlessness has shifted from literal survival to emotional survival. A man who fears losing her will act needy. A man who fears her rejection will act submissive. A man who fears her anger will act apologetic, even when he is right. A man who fears loneliness will tolerate disrespect. These behaviors are interpreted as weakness, and weakness in the female psyche does not provoke respect. It provokes contempt. The dark psychology here is simple. A woman cannot respect the man she feels she can emotionally dominate. When she senses fear in a man, she does not think he is kind. She thinks he is fragile. He cannot lead himself, let alone me. This is why fearless men trigger her respect instantly. Their energy communicates. I am not afraid of losing you. I am not afraid of being alone. I am not afraid of your emotions. I am not afraid of conflict. I am not afraid of standing my ground. This psychological steadiness becomes gravitational. Women orbit around men who move with the weight of their own inner authority. Fearlessness to the feminine mind is not optional. It is the foundation of masculine presence. Part 2. The emotional storm. She respects the man who does not flinch. Every woman, consciously or unconsciously, will generate emotional storms. This does not make her manipulative. It makes her human. The feminine psyche processes reality through emotion, not logic. Emotion is her language, her navigation system, her truth. And because emotion is so powerful for her, she instinctively tests your ability to withstand it. Not deliberately, not maliciously. It happens the same way thunder happens, naturally. She wants to know, can you stay centered when she is overwhelmed? Can you remain calm when she raises her voice? Can you hold your frame when she withdraws? Can you speak clearly when she cries? Can you remain grounded when she becomes chaotic? Most men break here. They either collapse into fear or retaliate with aggression. Both reveal immaturity. Aggression is fear wearing armor. Silence from panic is fear exposed. A fearless man does neither. He becomes still. He becomes the eye of the storm. Women deeply, profoundly respect a man who remains emotionally sovereign. A man who does not allow her emotions to infect his judgment. His stillness is not coldness. It is power in its purest form. This is where tension becomes attraction. This is where chaos becomes desire. This is where her tests stop feeling like games and start feeling like ancient rituals. A woman will push, react, escalate, withdraw, not to hurt you but to feel you, to sense your stability, to confirm whether you are anchored in yourself or swayed by her emotional temperature. Here's the psychological paradox. When she sees you stay calm, she softens. When she sees you retreat, she hardens. When she sees you fear her judgment, she loses respect. When she sees you stand firm, she feels safe. Her storms are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to reveal you. And only the fearless man stands revealed as worthy of respect, devotion, and admiration. Part 3. The power of boundaries. Fearlessness expressed through self-respect. Many men think women respect strength, but the truth is more specific. Women respect self-respect, and the clearest expression of self-respect is boundaries. A boundary is not a rule you impose on someone else. It is a line you refuse to cross within yourself. It is the declaration of who you will be and who you will never become. Fearful men struggle with boundaries because boundaries require the risk of loss. What if she leaves? What if she gets upset? What if she becomes distant? What if she thinks you don't love her? The moment a man fears loss more than he fears disrespect, he becomes weak. And weakness is a smell the female psyche detects instantly. Fearless men have boundaries not because they want control, but because they refuse to self-abandon. They do not negotiate their integrity. They do not tolerate emotional disrespect. They do not trade their values for temporary comfort. When a fearless man says no, it is calm, clear, final. No emotional tremor, no pleading, no fear. This is why boundaries, when delivered from strength, not anger, create immediate respect. A woman may resist at first. She may argue. She may escalate. But internally something powerful happens. Her psyche recognizes leadership. Her attraction system recognizes stability. Her emotional body recognizes safety. She respects a man who does not crumble under pressure. She respects a man who refuses to betray himself to keep her comfortable. She respects a man who keeps his standards regardless of her reaction. And here is the deepest truth. Fearlessness creates boundaries. Boundaries create respect. Respect creates attraction. Respect is the root that all feminine desire grows from. Without it, love becomes hollow, desire becomes inconsistent, and connection becomes unstable. But with it, even a powerful woman becomes soft, receptive, feminine, and deeply loyal. Not because she fears the man, but because she trusts the man who fears nothing. Part 4. Purpose as the core of fearlessness. The man who walks a path no one can derail. A woman's respect for a man does not come from his appearance, his charm, or even his intelligence. These things attract her attention, but they do not anchor her respect. The deepest respect she feels is reserved for the man who has a direction strong enough to withstand her influence. A man who walks a path so firmly that not even her emotions, her beauty, or her presence can knock him off course. Purpose is the backbone of masculine fearlessness. Without purpose, fear becomes the dominant force inside a man. He fears losing his partner because she is the center of his world. He fears being alone because he has nothing to build toward. He fears conflict because conflict threatens the little stability he has. He fears disapproval because disapproval feels like identity death. A purposeless man becomes psychologically fragile, and fragility is the one thing the female psyche never respects. Purpose shifts everything. When a man is anchored in a mission, whether creative, intellectual, spiritual, or entrepreneurial, he becomes immovable. He no longer seeks validation, because his validation comes from the progress he makes toward his vision. He no longer chases love, because love becomes a natural byproduct of the man he is becoming. He no longer fears conflict, because conflict cannot derail a man with a compass pointing him towards something greater than comfort. Women respect this more profoundly than most men can imagine. They may not articulate it, but they feel it on an instinctive level. When a woman meets a man with a strong purpose, she sees a man she cannot pull into chaos. She sees a man who cannot be emotionally hijacked. She sees a man who cannot be enslaved by her moods or her temptations. She sees a man who is already married, not to her, but to his destiny. This creates a psychological shift inside her. She begins to follow his energy rather than trying to lead it. She becomes more feminine because she senses a masculine polarity stronger than her own impulses. She becomes more respectful because she sees that his purpose gives him emotional stability. She becomes more attracted because she realizes she cannot replace the center of his world, only support it. Purpose also creates fearlessness because it removes dependency. A man whose identity comes from his mission does not fear loss, because nothing can take away the path carved within him. A man whose identity depends on a woman, however, becomes terrified of conflict, terrified of change, and terrified of abandonment. And the moment a woman senses that terror, her respect begins to crumble. She cannot respect a man who fears losing her more than he fears betraying himself. But here is the deepest layer. Purpose reveals a man's relationship with his own suffering. Every meaningful purpose requires sacrifice. The man willing to endure discomfort, challenge, and hardship for his mission communicates something primal. He can suffer for the sake of a vision. Women instinctively respect this because it mirrors the sacrifices they make. Biologically and emotionally, a man who willingly engages with struggle becomes a man who can carry weight. And the feminine psyche respects the man who can carry weight, because femininity is weight. Emotional weight, relational weight, existential weight. A man of purpose also radiates a rare kind of confidence, not arrogance, not performance, but quiet inevitability. He is not in competition with other men. He is not desperate for attention. He is not shaken by moments of rejection. He is not derailed by emotional storms. Part 5. The fearless aura. How presence rewrites her behavior without a single word. There is something strange and almost mystical about the way fearlessness shapes a man's presence. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's not physical. It's an aura, a subtle, quiet psychological force that alters how a woman behaves, even when she doesn't consciously realize it. Women do not merely observe fearlessness. They respond to it, surrender to it, and reorganize themselves around it. The fearless aura is built on 3 internal pillars: self-trust, emotional discipline, and detachment from outcome. When these 3 combine, a man becomes someone whose presence communicates. I do not fear life. I do not fear people. I do not fear losing what does not align with my integrity. This creates a field around him that is both calming and intimidating. Women feel this not through logic, but through their emotional radar, the intuitive sensitivity that evolved to detect the psychological strength of men. A woman's behavior changes drastically in the presence of a fearless man. Her voice lowers, her tone softens. She stops talking over him. She listens more. She becomes more deliberate with her words and less impulsive with her reactions. Not because she is submissive, but because his energy regulates hers. Women are emotionally intelligent beings. They absorb the emotional state of the man they're with. When his energy is chaotic, insecure, or fearful, her energy rises to compensate. When his energy is stable, calm, grounded, and fearless, her emotional intensity relaxes naturally. This aura also affects how she tests him. A woman tests a man not to break him, but to reveal him. But when she senses true fearlessness, the tests become less frequent, less intense, and less chaotic. She still tests because testing is part of female psychology, but she tests with curiosity rather than desperation. She tests to understand him, not to destabilize him. One of the hidden aspects of the fearless aura is the absence of seeking. Most men leak fear by seeking approval, affection, validation, or reassurance. The fearless man is self-sustained. He enjoys connection, but he does not cling. He appreciates presence, but he does not chase. This lack of emotional hunger creates a powerful shift in her. She becomes the one who leans in. She becomes the one who initiates connection. She becomes the one who seeks his attention, because nothing is more attractive to the feminine psyche than a man who does not need her yet chooses her. This psychological dynamic is not manipulation, it is polarity. Fearlessness creates masculine polarity by freeing the man from the emotional gravity of the relationship. And when a man is emotionally free, the woman instinctively becomes more emotionally invested. Not because she is controlled, but because she is magnetized. The fearless aura also sets a man apart from the average. Most men fear judgment. Most men fear confrontation. Most men fear rejection. Most men fear emotional expression. Most men fear losing the woman they love. When a woman encounters a man untouched by these fears, she feels something she rarely feels in modern men: admiration. Admiration is the root of feminine respect. Respect is the root of feminine desire. Desire is the root of feminine devotion. Fearlessness is not a personality trait. Fearlessness is a spiritual presence. It is a frequency that only a woman's intuition can fully detect and respond to. And once she senses it, her behavior transforms, not because you asked, but because your presence leaves her no psychological space for anything less. Part 6. The final layer. Why fearlessness creates devotion, stability, and deep psychological bonding. To complete this exploration, we must go to the foundation of feminine psychology, the place where desire, respect, and emotional bonding merge into a single instinctual truth. Women do not devote themselves to men they do not respect. They do not respect men who fear them. They do not fear men who fear life. Fearlessness, when carried properly, becomes the root of devotion. Devotion is not control. It is not obedience. It is not submission in the traditional sense. Devotion is emotional alignment, the state where a woman feels safe enough, inspired enough, and challenged enough to give her full emotional expression to a man. Devotion happens when a man provides three core experiences: safety, strength, and stability. Fearlessness is the force that produces all three. When a man is fearless, he becomes safe because he is emotionally predictable, not reactive. She knows he will not explode in anger or collapse into anxiety. She knows he will not be shaken by her emotions. She knows he will not betray himself just to appease her. This safety creates trust, and trust is the first door to devotion. When a man is fearless, he becomes strong, not through dominance, but through emotional command. A woman respects a man who can remain grounded when she is overwhelmed. She respects a man who can hold space for her emotions without absorbing them. She respects a man who can lead himself, even when the relationship goes through tension. This strength creates admiration, and admiration is the second door to devotion. When a man is fearless, he becomes stable, a psychological rock. She knows he can handle his life, his challenges, his fears, and his responsibilities without falling apart. Stability creates relaxation, and relaxation is the third door to devotion. Women devote themselves to the man they trust, admire, and feel safe with. And these three experiences emerge naturally from fearlessness. But the deepest truth is this: a fearless man dissolves her anxiety. A fearful man amplifies it. A fearless man calms her mind. A fearful man destabilizes it. A fearless man creates emotional intimacy. A fearful man obstructs it. A fearless man ignites her desire. A fearful man suffocates it. Fearlessness is not about being tough. It is about being whole. When a woman meets a whole man, emotionally sovereign, self-respecting, purposeful, grounded, she feels something ancient awaken inside her. She feels that she can finally relax into her feminine nature. She feels that she can follow without losing herself. She feels that she can surrender without fear of betrayal. This is the psychology of deep bonding, bonding rooted not in need but in reverence. And this is the final layer of the dark psychology of respect. Women do not choose fearless men because society conditioned them to. Women choose fearless men because nature designed them to. Because deep inside her psyche she knows one truth: only a fearless man can protect her, lead her, inspire her, and build a life with her that does not collapse under pressure. Fearlessness builds respect. Respect builds desire. Desire builds devotion. And devotion creates the bond that every woman dreams of, but only a fearless man can sustain.